guys, welcome back to my favorite channel. Mm. Okay, right now I want to say about the property is primarily used as a home, not a rental. Uh, as we mentioned at the beginning of this chapter, the tax code also provides some great tax advantage or to rental property investors. One primary goal of most rental property investors is to create rent income. Generally, rent income is included in your gross income. Rental income includes the actual rent payments plus one in expenses of the investor paid by a tenant. 2. The fair market value of service provided in lieu of rent. Payments by tenants for cancelling a lease. And 4. Payments by tenants for an option to purchase the property. One of the few times rent is not included in income is when you rent property that you also use as your home or second home and you rent it for 14 days or less during the year. The property is primarily used as a home, not a rental. That means you are also not permitted to deduct rental expenses. In the subsections that follow, we discuss expenses and deductions that can reduce taxable rental income. Most of the ordinary and necessary expenses of renting a property can be deducted from its rental income. Generally, rental expenses are deducted in the year you pay them, and they can be deducted even if the property is vacant as long as it is held out for rent. Repairs and improvements. Rental properties require maintenance. Sometimes this means repairing broken windows or fixing leaks. Other times it means improving the property by installing a new water heater or modernizing the kitchen. Whether you make a repair or an improvement impacts how much you can deduct. Repairs are preferred with rental properties because the entire expense is deductible in the year it is paid. Improvements, on the other hand, are considered capital assets and must be depreciated over time. Repairs differ from improvements in that repairs keep the property in good operating conditions but do not materially add to the value of the property or substantially extend the life of the property. If a repair is part of an extensive remodeling or restorations of the property, then it must be included in the whole job, treated as an improvement instead of a repair. Here are a few things to keep in mind to maximize your deductions for repairs. Schedule and track repairs and improvements separately. Use comparable materials when making repairs, since using better materials may seem more like an improvement. Limit repairs to damaged areas only and make repairs following a triggering event such as a broken water pipe. Also, be sure to keep accurate records to keep repair work separate from improvement work. You may want to arrange for the work to be done at different times and by different contractors if possible. For improvements, you will need to know the cost of improvements when you sell or depreciate your rental property. Other expense. There are many other expenses that can be deducted from rental income, as well as the cost of repairs. Some of these expenses include advertising, cleaning and maintenance, utilities, insurance, tax, mortgage interest, points, commissions, tax return preparations fees, certain travel and transportation expense, and rental payments for equipment or leasehold interest. If you rent a condominium or cooperative apartment, you may also deduct dust or assessments for care of the common areas as long as the funds are used for maintenance and not improvements or capital assets. If you rent part of your property and use another party for personal use, then you must divide certain expenses between the two parts as though they were separate properties. For example, painting the exterior of a home would normally be a non-deductible personal expense, but if you rent a room in the home, you may use a reasonable method of dividing the expense and deduct a part of the cost as a rental expense. You do not have to divide expenses that belong only to rental part of the property. For example, the entire cost of painting a room that you rent is a rental expense. Similarly, if you have a vacation home that you rent, you must divide your expenses between rental use and personal use. If you used your vacation home as a home, you cannot deduct rental expenses that are more than your rental income for the property. Whether the IRS will consider the property used as a home is discussed in detail in Chapter 4. If the property is not used as a home, you can deduct rental expenses that are more than your rental income, subject to certain limitations we discuss in the next chapter. Okay guys, until here first for today. See you in the next video. Say bye bye.